Hi, I'm Jenny Forseth, and no, despite this awesome headset I'm wearing right here, I am not a professional gamer. I'm a teacher. I've been teaching now for a little over 20 years. I'm the academic instructional coach at Bick Elementary School, Jefferson County Public Schools, and I'm a proud member of the Louisville Writing Project, Cohort 39. If Louisville Writing Project has been something on your radar, but you haven't quite pursued it yet, I encourage you to do so. I've found it to be transformational, even at this stage in my career. Very worthwhile experience. Speaking of Louisville Writing Project, we have a conference coming up on January 16th, 2021. And I'm going to give you a little taste here today of what I will be speaking about during our conference. It's Greenbelt writing, the high yield strategy perfect for times like these. It was inspired by the book Joyride by Ralph Fletcher. So, what is Greenbelt writing? It's not something else, it's not something extra. It's a strategy to use within your existing instructional framework. It fits in with your whole group time. It fits in with your guided reading, guided writing, your independent practice. It even fits in with your reflection, evaluation, share. It can be used as an exit ticket. It can also be used across disciplines and other subject areas other than ELA. When I first started teaching back in the 1990s, we one thing we did with our writing instruction is we devoted quite a few minutes to developing students as writers, helping students uh, see themselves as authors and writers. And reflecting back on that and looking at the current instructional landscape, I think we've lost some of that these days. We're spending more time, I believe, on the products, the writing, and maybe less time on empowering our students to see themselves as writers. So, right now, with everything going on in our world, I believe that now is the time to restore Greenbelt writing into the classroom to help empower our students to use their voices in the form of writing. My presentation that I'll be giving on January 16th will go over my top 4 reasons for doing that and how to do that. But today I'll just give you a little uh, tidbit of what I'll be talking about. So, one of my reasons to restore a writing green belt in your classroom is that it allows space for students to explore language. I was inspired by a fellow Louisville Writing Project cohort member, Patty Slagle, with her presentation, Seeing Grammar Through New Eyes, in developing this part of my presentation. So we'll start out with our why. Why do we want to allow space for students to explore language? And I refer back to Jeff Anderson's quote from Mechanically Inclined. That's one of those texts I refer back to time and time again. He says, I use powerful literature and student writing to teach the rules of language. Focusing on craft instead of correctness has revolutionized my teaching of grammar and mechanics. I have to say, it's done the same for me. So, how do we do this? The first thing we do is we're going to just lift a sentence from a mentor text or a piece of student writing. And how empowering is it when you use your student's own writing as your mentor text? But you can do it either way. Next, you're going to use inquiry based questions to guide students' observations and inferences about the pattern. Allow them to discover the pattern rather than telling them the pattern. Then you're going to search other texts for the examples of the pattern, opportunities to manipulate other sentences to fit the pattern. And finally, after you've laid all of that groundwork, only then do you name the pattern. And then finally, we're going to invite students to employ the pattern in their own writing. Let's see what this might look like. I've got a sentence here. I want you to take a look at this sentence and think about what you notice about this sentence. Yeah, this guy's got it going on, right? He's not only intelligent, he's also very funny. Great. How does the author connect those two character traits? How does the author connect those two adjectives? Okay, we've got not only and but also. What if you took just a few seconds right now to try to craft a sentence using not only but also? If you don't feel so inspired to craft your own sentence, perhaps you could do a little bit of a literacy dig. Dig around in your environment and see if you can find another sentence somewhere that someone else has written using not only but also. Here are some examples of what you may have come up with. Cats are not only incredible companions, but also fierce hunters. So after we've done that, we've explored the language, we've played around with it a bit. Only then do we actually name the standard, name the pattern that we're investigating. And following focus standard language is 5.1E. We're talking about correlative conjunctions. One thing that I like to do is I like to allow students to label the pattern. I remember one year my students called these buddy words, and we use that term all year long. Basically, it's just pairs of words that relate to phrases or words in a sentence. So then it's time to play. There are other buddy words. There are other correlative conjunctions that might choose to use in our writing as authors. So give your students time to go back in their writer's notebooks. Maybe they're going to revise an existing piece. Maybe they're just going to write a new sentence on a scrap piece of paper or an exit ticket. Give them time to explore, play, investigate this pattern of language. And so, why do we do this? Why do we invite students to play and explore with language rather than maybe giving them a prompt or a mandate or a task or an assignment? Well, for one thing, it helps to develop community. And right now, especially as we're virtual, developing community is so very important. Um, but you're helping to develop not only just a warm learning community, but a community of writers, students who realize their potential for having a voice and sharing that voice. But also, there are equity considerations with providing your students writing invitations. You're giving your kids, every kid in your class, an entry point into the discussion. And don't forget, we can use this strategy across discipline areas. So that's just a little smidge of what we're going to talk about with Greenbelt Writing on January 16th. I certainly hope you can join us. I hope you've gotten something out of this, and I wish you the best of luck.